This is the Harbor Management Commission's Mooring Committee meeting on Tuesday, April 11th, 5:30 p.m. in Sullivan Independence Hall. We have Bill Perugini and Brian LeClaire, Kim Taylor, yes, and Jack Hirschler. I'm blanking out in my old age. We do have a flag, however. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
And we have Mr. Warren as well joining us. Full house today. Before the Harbor Master's report, let me just report one item I did not put on the agenda. We got a notification on the 2nd of April from Online Mooring that they're updating their pricing structure starting effective July 1st. The main part that's going to affect us on an ongoing basis is going to be that the $6 per record charge that we pay is going to increase effective for any new ones input after 7/1 to $7. So you'll recall for the people on the waiting list, we when we last updated our fee table, introduced a $10 record administrative fee. So we're well covered for the people on the wait list, and I think we can assume that we can manage the extra dollar from our permit fees as well. So I think it's just important for folks to know. There are other changes that really relate to the cost of any system changes that we need them to customize for us. I don't think, Brian, that we're not expecting any real system changes at this point. They've done those.
I guess the good news was they were intending to implement that extra charge.
Right.
If you wanted additional hand-holding in the court, and they backed off of that for whatever reason.
Right. I think they decided it was just better to help people in a timely manner rather than have people make cost decisions about getting their service that they need.
So it's a per mooring fee?
Right. Our contract has never changed since we started years ago. It's been $6 a year per record as their charge. That's really their revenue source from
per record. And there's like 140 records?
Right.
Or roughly 140 records?
Something like that.
Or let's say 150.
Everybody on the wait list, plus every docked vessel, plus everybody with a permit.
So we pay that to Online Mooring, which is the online
software company.
Right. And so we pay that. That's our cost.
Right.
And then we recoup that from the mooring fees that we collect from those.
Right, and we added this admin fee that we never had before the last time we updated the fee table, because the people on the waiting list weren't paying for a permit fee, they were just on the waiting list. Right. And so now we charge them $10 a year, covers the sort of administrative costs the harbor master might have in communicating with them, plus it'll pick up that $7 charge.
That was my next question. So they pay like a reservation fee, if you will.
Every year.
And when was that implemented first?
With 2 years.
Last year?
The year before. Yeah. So this is our second year now.
Yeah. So the $10
to stay on the list. To stay on the list. Right. So and we do almost none between July until January, and so this is really going to affect us starting in January next year.
And the fee went up at $7 per record, per mooring.
Exactly, and it's been $6 for 5 years now, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah, something like that.
4 years, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it seems not surprising.
Yeah, and they've been so helpful, and it's a good system and makes life so much easier.
Right.
And we're covered.
Right.
So.
This is not just us, this is everybody.
Got
It's a blanket thing for all their clients.
And our use of Online Mooring is relatively new, right? With your start, or did it predate you?
No, they used a few years before.
Oh, we did?
4 years.
Oh, we did, okay.
Yeah.
We're in our 5th year.
Yeah, this is the 5th.
They're kind of the only game in town, though, right, with this kind of software?
Well, there was one other, and when we were considering going from paper to software, we explored both. And we decided, for a whole lot of reasons, that Online Mooring was the better way to go. There's really only 2.
The top guy there came and sat down with us as a commission and walked us through the system, and I think we were impressed. Lots of towns up and down the East Coast in New England use them.
And around the country now, too. The Bahamas, they picked up as one of the clients.
Right.
So they were good software, because if they're the only vendor, they can have everybody hooked, and then they can really...
Right, they could.
Well, they could, but there was another vendor, and we talked to users of both vendors, and even the users of the other vendor said you should go with Online Mooring. That's my recollection, so.
I mean, you could imagine if it got to be ridiculous, people could do it manually, because
Yeah.
everybody used
Yeah.
to, so.
Yeah.
It's just that, it keeps a nice long-term record of what happens and documents decisions that the harbor master makes. It's nice to have that, if there's chirping years later about why you.
There's lots of features. I can enter notes. If someone comes off the list, why do they lose their mooring? It's because on this date they sent me an email telling me, or little notes. And they even have it now for your cell phone, where if you hook your cell phone and you can be on the water and pull up to a mooring and see whose it is and learn all about the boat while you're on the, have to go to a laptop.
Right.
Do it. So, yeah.
I mean, years ago, it was paper files and spreadsheets. It was just very complicated. It gets complicated as the years go by to have all these changes, so.
80 people on a wait list,
Right.
giving 80 pieces of paper for the wait list, to say nothing of the 120 pieces of paper.
Right.
Yeah.
Used to all be checks, now get very few checks. It's all
Yeah.
paid by credit card, so
Yeah.
it's much better, yeah. I'm sorry. So that, I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget to mention that.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll talk about it officially to everybody next week, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, Harbor Master report.
So, I'll give you a couple of upcoming events before I forget. The first is, this Saturday, as you know, at 11 a.m., there's a birthday celebration for Mr. Carroll over at Yee Yacht Yard. I'll have the building opened up. It'll be very nice. So if you're available, stop by, folks, at 11. Pat, you too. And, the new, Pequot Yacht Club Patrick L. Carroll launch will be making a visit there up the harbor. It was christened on Saturday morning, a couple of days ago, for a small family event with Pat, and it was very nice. So that is coming up. We are also having, just so you can note your calendars, June 17th is the Blessing of the Fleet and the Street Parade. So Saturday, June 17th, the parade is going to kick off at 8:30 is the breakfast at Southport School. The parade will kick off at 11 a.m., the blessing approximately noon. So add that to your calendars. So as to the moorings, where we are right now, we've had 3 people drop out this year. Accomando, who was at West Wall 9, Donovan at South Helix 10, and Wilcox at North Wall 4. So we moved some of the vessels around to better accommodate them, and we've taken the top 3 vessels off the list and offered them all spots. So what we've done is West Wall 9 was replaced with another 20-footer. It was a small 18, 19-footer in there, sailboat. Now there's a small 20-foot power boat in there. That's Mr. Orban. He's all set. As I indicated, South Helix was empty by Mr. Donovan, so we moved Mr. Marsilius from South Helix 10, which is on the row closest to the channel, second one from south. We moved him, since his boat's in the 30s foot range, we moved him to South Helix 16, and we took, Mr. Donovan, we moved Marsilius into South Helix 10, and we put Donovan in South Helix 16, which became available, which was Mr. Marsilius's. So, I strike that again. Donovan is out. Donovan was in 10. So we moved Mr. Marsilius from 16 to 10, which is the middle row. That frees up 16, which is the second one from north to south. And we put
Conrad Bailey?
Mr. Bailey, Conrad Bailey, who has a 43-foot Choi Lee sailboat in the North Anchorage now. He's next on the list. So we're able to move him right into there, and that's better access for him. Mr. Wilcox got out of NW4. He's the 3rd dropout. So we moved a few boats around. We basically put Mr. Kinney, who was in 14, Midwall 14, we put him in North Wall 4 with his 29.6-foot boat. We moved Mr. DeCalise, who was in Midwall 1, and we're now putting him into Midwall 14. His boat grew over the winter to 41 feet. So luckily we can accommodate the bigger boat. It worked out well. And we were able to take the first boat off the list, riparian, Mr. Gravos, who has a Boston Whaler 335, and he's going to Midwall 1. So, consulted with the club, this is all gonna work out nicely. So the bottom line is we've taken 3 boats off the list. 33-footer, a 43-footer, and a 20-footer, the next 3 at the top. We're going to have, there's still 2 empty dock spaces at Pequot that they have to assign to the members. They're going through that with the committee right now. If that frees up, one of the boats may be coming from the South Helix area, so we're going to have another opening. How that will work out, the next boat on the list, the 25-foot power boat, assuming these boats all exist, 25-foot power boat, a 23-foot power boat, a 20-foot power boat, and then a new 48-foot sailboat.
So that would
owned
be
by a gentleman. That's the ideal fit for the Helix. That's
right.
the only spot that the thing could fit. So that's going to work out nicely.
How big is it?
48.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that'll be a great, because we don't have many opportunities to get boats in the Helix area, and that's where the only place.
So only one of the 2 might be filled from the North Anchorage?
Just one that I know of right now. I don't know where the other one is, but, no, yes, I believe so. It depends how the chips fall, but I think we'll have one coming out of the Helix. And then we have a lot of, then again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 power boats in the 20s. You have to go down to number 10 to get the next biggest sailboat at 34, but above it there is a 45-foot power boat, so we'll see if that individual wants that when the time comes. So it worked out really well this year. It's the bottom line, the assignment of the boats and moving folks around.
Great.
As to renewals, Mr. Christie just got a new boat. Dr. Christie just got a new boat, and he sent me the documents today. It's replacing his existing boat. So that will be fine, and it's within the same size range. It's within a foot, so I think it's a foot smaller, actually, so that will be fine. He wasn't able to pay the money yet. We have a little issue, which I'll get to in a second with that. We also have 2 other individuals, Wallace and Brittis. They've paid, they've given me everything except their registrations. They're waiting for the new registrations to come in, so I expect we'll have those within days, because it's that time of year when your new registrations show up. The stickers all went out. The club got their stickers this morning. Everyone else's. Over the weekend, I finalized the envelopes for everyone, printed them off, and they've been mailed to the folks. So everyone should be getting their stickers any day now. Moorings are almost all in. They were working on them again last few days. It's looking good. And a little problem with the online mooring we ran into. When I was doing some of these assignments 2 weeks ago, some went fine. No issues, people that dropped off, I cleared them, I freed the moorings, I made offers, put the people on. Then I noticed the system was doing something odd next to 2 of the moorings, putting dates where dates didn't belong in the mooring numbers. So I reached out to Online Mooring. Tech support thought they figured it out, and all of a sudden they said, we have a bigger problem, something is glitching here, and we don't know why it's doing that. Don't do anything. Don't touch, don't assign anybody, just wait, and we'll get it straightened out with tech support. So it's a week tomorrow, so I'll be following up with them to see if they figured out what the little problem is. But it's not crucial, because I back up everything old school print copies at the first of every month. So I've got my list. I know who's on it and who's who, and I could see everything. I could see who's been assigned. It's just glitching in one of the columns where it shouldn't, and I can't assign 2 of the newest boats formally. But we know who they are and where they're going to go, so it'll be fine. I think that is it.
Did you happen to have any conversation with Parks and Rec about?
Yeah, I sent him a follow-up this morning because I hadn't heard back, and I haven't heard back yet on that. About
right.
taking over the administration of the Perry Green Mooring.
Yeah, it just
Makes
seems
sense.
silly to have 2 systems and 2 time schedules
Mhm.
and underutilized moorings in the harbor as a result of that. So, all right, so we'll see what happens with that. There's one other systems issue that I discovered in the last day or 2 that it appears that the reports and some other capabilities in the system don't seem to be able to be accessed from an iPad, but on a laptop it worked fine. So there's some kind of a glitch with the something with the iPad operating system and being able to access parts of the online mooring system. So they're aware of it, and they opened a ticket this morning to try and figure it out. So.
These are going to Apple to do the job of a PC.
Right. Right. The next item on our agenda is a discussion about the status of the harbor safety video camera acquisition.
So I think Kim could probably give the report. I reached out. I think we talked about that. We have prices. We got a price from the vendor, I think I indicated last time. And that was the vendor that the town uses on all of the cameras and the system we have. And that price for the...
16.
Yeah, was, right here, installed $16,034.02. And that would be for 2 cameras, one at the Yacht Yard on the building, the second on the flagpole located at the top of the metal dinghy dock at Yacht Yard. Those would only be for private access, internal access, not for public viewing. However, once the little pole is up, the vendor indicated we can buy an inexpensive webcam to put there for members of the public to go on our website through the town to look at the harbor anytime they want, look out at the weather, and we can actually get a wind gauge and wind direction and speed indicator as part of a package. Put it up so any boater who wants to see what the winds are blowing there and what it looks like at that moment. I think that in talking to some of the boaters at the Harbor Master Coffee, they thought that was intriguing and a great idea. Before they went there, they can really look at the weather to know what it's like in the harbor. And get an accurate wind indication. So at that point, I talked to the Fairfield Police Department because they monitor all these at various locations. They have them on their phones, the Marine Police. They also go to headquarters, and they go to the Marine headquarters in South Benson. They have no money for doing that, and they said that actually the fire department paid for our cameras when we did that. So I reached out to the one of the assistant chiefs, and then Kim reached out to the chief, and I'll let her take over that part as to where we are with that source of funding for it.
So the town has a consolidated security system with cameras around the underpasses of the railroad, down on Fairfield Beach Road, over at South Benson. And the fire chief suggested that it made the most sense for us to be part of that system so that it could be monitored, so that one person could be monitoring everything at the same time.
And this is fire? You said fire?
The fire chief suggested.
Fire chief, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all through the fire department, not the police department, the fire department.
I think it's
Well,
the
they
same
all- they
camera
both-
system. They're all the same system.
Yeah, it's one consolidated
Okay.
system.
Yeah.
And we chatted a bit about, the town, I guess, the IT manager wanted us to use this vendor, and so that it could be, all the pieces would fit together and work together, and it all made sense. And, the fire chief is also the emergency manager for the town. And I chatted with him about the cost and about the importance of this, and he said, well, why don't I okay the Harbor Commission to apply for a Homeland Security FEMA port security grant. And so he did. He okayed us to apply for that. The application time is from now till May 18th. I'm going to meet with Terry Brown, who is the town grants coordinator, on Thursday, and see what the next steps are. The fire chief also sent me several applications, port security applications, that he was able to access so that we would have language that we could use in our application. So he said that would cover 3/4 of the cost. So that would get us to 12 and change, if we are okay.
And the other cost, we have to just pay monthly cable or internet costs.
Right. So it would be $100 roughly.
The most,
At the most on top of that. But, we can review all of that again at the meeting on Tuesday, because the whole commission really needs to decide whether or not, we want to, A, go ahead with the application, and B, chat about the cost. So, but that's where we are.
Yeah, and the grant covers 3/4, you said? 3/4 of the cost?
3/4, yeah. So we'll see. I have no idea what the next steps are, and Terry Brown is the grants coordinator, and hopefully
It'll be interesting to hear what the kind of turnaround time is once you apply in May or by May, what the waiting period is after that.
Yeah, no, we gotta get on it right away.
Yeah.
And she's with us on that.
No, I meant that once they have it in there.
Oh, I have no idea.
Who knows how long that'll take.
Who knows?
All right.
Who knows? But the good news is that we're back in FEMA's good graces, so that, we can apply, so.
That's true.
that's,
Were we out of their good graces?
well,
Close
we
to
came
it.
very close.
Oh, you mean sound?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Keenly aware of that.
Yeah.
Right.
So, anyway, I will have an update
Okay.
on Tuesday at the commission meeting, because I will have met with Terry Brown by then, so.
So, the next item on our agenda is the Deputy Harbor Master search. For this meeting, we're not in executive session. I just was interested in a status update on generally where we are on the search process, not talking about any of the candidates.
Yeah, the committee convened on 2 occasions since the last meeting, on Wednesday, the 29th, and Thursday, the 6th. We engaged with all of the candidates interested in moving forward with the Deputy Harbor Master role. All showed but one who canceled within about 90 minutes notice. So all in all, we interviewed a total of 5 candidates, and each had an interesting mix of experience. Some were extraordinarily well qualified, and others, brought other skills to the equation. So the committee individually convened in assessing the skill mix and experience and unique qualifications they would bring to the role, and they'll convene in an executive session to select our top 3.
So will you have the recommendation of the top 3 for the full commission to consider on Tuesday?
Yeah, I'd like to convene with the committee after this meeting in session to get aligned with that, but I'm confident that we'll have our top 3 selections.
Okay, so then we'll go into executive session. We'll get so you can present the candidates to the full commission, and then
Next week.
on Tuesday, and then we'll have but you'll have a recommendation of who your number 1 is, and the commission will accept your recommendation, or vote to accept, whether or not to accept your recommendation. And so the names would go public after the executive session. In other words, after you describe the candidates, then then you have to make a motion asking the full commission to accept your recommendation. At that time, we can't be in executive session. So at that time, you would then reveal the names of your top 3 candidates.
Of the 3 candidates?
Yeah,
Sure.
Which sort of leads to an immediate phone call to all the candidates.
Right, so
after
you'd
that.
have to then get in touch with them, because,
They should hear from us.
you've got to let them know kind of what,
Apart from the 3 that we submit.
yeah.
Any comments, questions?
Great, excellent,
Okay, good, yeah.
excellent. And we'll send that, then we'll get Jeff to do up a letter. You might want to also let the first selectwoman know who you're recommending, and you might also ask her if she would be interested in writing a letter to the governor in support of your candidate. And that's what usually happens, and then it's out of our hands.
She might need to know why it was important to us to have a deputy for the first time also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've explained it once, but she might,
All right.
Yeah, so I don't see any issue with us having that wrapped up by, and if we could convene after this meeting.
Should be short, right?
Yeah, I think we're all pretty much aligned based upon our prior meetings and discussions.
So to sort of recap, there's a possibility of one more South Helix probably vacancy potentially.
Yes, possibly 1, depends who comes off the list. I mean, it could be 2 vacancies in the harbor, but 1, I think, pretty strongly, we're going to have the South Helix.
Okay, and then should we be able to reach some resolution with Parks and Rec, we could assume responsibility and perhaps be more efficient about assigning a small boat possibly.
Exactly, I've got those little 20-foot boats.
Those boats at the top of the list could go right in there if we had control and could put it under our system, right? So we potentially could put 2 or 3 more boats in this season, maybe.
Right. Make a big difference.
Right.
Well, that would be wonderful. That could be almost 5 boats off the waiting list.
Yeah, right now we're 3.
Right. I don't know how many of the Parks and Rec positions, just because it's not their top priority, were left unfilled last year, but.
They had, I think, 3 unfilled last year.
Unfilled, we could fill all of them, right. Yeah, so that would be really nice.
And they're busy, and it's not their priority.
I get it.
It's time to respond to
Totally.
them. And, we're more tight with our timeline.
Yeah.
They just don't start on the same, they're right, I remember
They would
Justin
start-
said he hoped to get to them by May or so, to start to think about it. It's too late by then for folks,
Yeah.
you know. Okay, anything else for tonight? Members of the public, Jeff or Pat?
No, excellent meeting, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All good here, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations
Okay, see you Saturday.
yes,
Yes.
on the new Pat Carroll. I'm looking forward to seeing it on Saturday. All right,
Thank you
we
very
are
much.
adjourned. Thank you all.